Okay, are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this class we are going to start genetic algorithm. Okay, so this first slide is the same as for simulated annealing because the title slide is the same. So genetic algorithm also is an algorithm which is based on natural phenomena, and it is also based on stochastic method. So it has a good combination of random search and also direction. That is, it is not blind random search. It is a random search which will go in the correct direction. So the genetic algorithm is especially used for non-convex problems. So when there are multiple peaks and we have to find the global peak out of the many uh, local peaks. Okay. So the genetic algorithm shown here is for unconstrained problem. That is, only objective function is maximized. So if a constraint is there, you have to apply it with penalty function method. So genetic algorithm, now we'll go into the details of genetic algorithm. So it is a heuristic algorithm which is useful for multimodal problems. That is many local optima. So it has a good combination of random exploration combined with the direction. So it imitates natural selection through the concept of survival of the fittest. So this is called theory of evolution. Okay. Theory of evolution is based on concept of survival of the fittest. So what is basically survival of the fittest? So all creatures which are existing today are the result of survival of the fittest competition by trial and error over millions of years. Okay, so now we look at what is the meaning of survival of the fittest. Okay, so consider a species of animals which is living in nature. That is not human beings, but wild animals living in the nature. So weak, unfit, or disease-prone animals, they will die. Other animals will not take care of a sick animal. Maybe human beings will do that, but in the wild, animals will not take care of sick animals. The sick animals will go somewhere and die. So even if they don't die, the sick or unfit animals are unable to find a mate. So their genes are not transmitted to the next generation. So an animal which is weak, weak towards disease, and not resistant towards disease, etc., it will not be able to find a mate and transmit its genes to the next generation. Okay. Then only animals in good fitness can find a mate and produce offspring and pass their genes to the next generation. So all these operations are simulated in genetic algorithm using a process called ranking and also using a process called crossover. So what are these processes? We'll see later. Okay. And another important thing in genetic algorithm is an operation called mutation. So what is mutation? So the genes of the offspring may not be an exact mixture of the genes of the parents. So some random changes might occur. Okay. So just for example, the parents are both very healthy, but the offspring is unhealthy, or vice versa. And also another thing is that, see, both the parents are very short, but the offspring is very tall. So these are called mutations. Okay, so mutations will take place in the offspring's genes. So some mutations are beneficial. They will give some new properties such as resistance to disease, more strength, etc. So genetic algorithm also simulates these mutations in the population by randomly making small changes in the solution, and If it is a good mutation, then that a good solution will be entered into the next generation. If it's a bad mutation, it will be rejected in the next generation. So how this mutation, crossover, ranking are all done, we'll see in the coming slides. Okay, so basically, genetic algorithm imitates survival of fittest in the nature. Okay. Okay, so in this lecture, we look at genetic algorithm for maximization only. Okay. So how to do minimization, I'll explain later. Okay, so first of all, you can look here. Okay, so it is a non-convex objective function with multiple peaks. Okay, so multiple peaks is there, and our objective is to find this global peak. Okay, so how does genetic algorithm simulate natural selection in this example? So first genetic algorithm starts with a randomly picked population x1, x2, x3 up to xn in the domain. So here we will have x1, x2, x3, x4. So four populations are randomly picked from the x-axis of this objective function. Okay. Then the genetic algorithm will rank this population according to the fitness. Fitness means objective function values. Okay, so here we want to maximize. Okay, so this x4 is best because it has the largest height or largest value of objective function. Okay, then next is x3. X3 has the next largest value of the objective function. Next is x1. Okay, x1 has the next largest value of objective function. Finally, x2. X2 has the smallest value of the objective function. So you can rank them like this. x4 is best, then x3, then x1, then x2. So this is best, this is worst. So this is called a ranking operation. The population is ranked on the basis of objective function. And if you want to do minimization, then this x2 will come on top. Okay, the smallest objective function will come on top, then x1, then x3, and then x4. So that is how you do minimization. But just to avoid confusion, we'll do only maximization. So to do minimization, you rank them with the smallest objective function on top and the largest at the bottom. Okay, so for maximization, this is the ranking. Okay. Then what is done is that then the worst members are rejected. So these two are the worst. Worst 50% of the members are rejected based on the principle of survival of the fittest. So best, this is the next best. Okay. So out of the population, we reject 50% of the worst members. So only two are remaining. Then what is done is that crossover and mating and mutation are carried out between the fittest parents. So x3, x4, you can do crossover and mutation, and you can get, four offspring for the next generation. Okay, x3, x1 for apostrophe, x3 for apostrophe, x2 for apostrophe, x1 for apostrophe. So these four members are obtained by doing crossover and mutation of the two parents. Or you can say that these four are the children of these two parents, or these four are the offspring of these two parents. So these four children will inherit some good properties of these two best parents. Okay. So then these four has to be ranked again in the next generation. So x4 is ranked as best, x1 is ranked as first. So this is the next generation. Again, this worst 50% is rejected, and this so these two are again subjected to crossover and mutation. We get again the four offspring. That is x4 double apostrophe, x3 double apostrophe, x2 double apostrophe, x1 double apostrophe. Then again this worst is rejected. So if you do this some 100 times, then let us see what will happen. Okay. So First of all, I will erase all this. Okay, so suppose you do this operation 100 times. Then what will happen is that finally all the offspring will converge towards the global peak. Okay, so this is the principle of the genetic algorithm. First, you have to generate a random population. Actually, 4 members of random population is not enough. You must have at least 50 or 100. So you must rank them. You have to reject the worst 50%, and best 50%, you have to produce the offspring, okay, to fill the next generation. So it will go on like that. Okay. So over many iterations or generations, all the values of X will converge to the global maximum. So this is in a nutshell how the genetic algorithm works. So genetic algorithm can be divided into binary genetic algorithm and real coded or decimal genetic algorithm. So originally, when the genetic algorithm was first proposed, this binary genetic algorithm was proposed because the numbers are converted to bit strings like this. Okay, so this looks like human chromosomes. Okay, so because of the resemblance, people thought that numbers have to be converted to bit string and you have to do some operations. But later people found that it is not required to do this unnecessary binary operations, and you can get the same result by using numbers in the decimal form. Okay, so first, out of interest of the subject, we look at how binary genetic algorithm is done. It is somewhat complicated, so it will not be asked for exam. Maybe some theory question will be asked, like what is the advantage or disadvantage of binary genetic algorithm, things like that. Okay, so first we look at binary genetic algorithm. So here all numbers are expressed as binary strings or bit strings. Okay. Then another thing is that the genetic algorithm presented in this lecture is for maximizing a function, but you can do minimizing also. Okay. So first we look at binary genetic algorithm with a simple example. The binary genetic algorithm illustrated with a simple non-convex example. So you have to find the maxima of the single variable objective function, which is based on x only. And the range of x is -1 to 2. So it is called non-convex because in the range of -1 to 2, it has many peaks like this. Actually, it's a sine function, so it will fluctuate like this. Okay. There's many peaks like this, and the genetic algorithm has to find the global peak. Okay, so let us see. Okay, so here f of x is here and x is here. It's a single variable problem. So let us see how this simple problem is done. Okay. So first we have to find the range of the design variable. So we know that range is from -1 to 2, or it is 3. Range is 3. Okay. Next is decide on how many divisions we need in this range. And that number of divisions depends on what is the decimal precision we want. Okay, suppose we want a decimal precision of 10 raised to -6. So I'll draw the x-axis. Okay, this is -1 to 2. So I want the smallest division as 10 raised to -6. That is decimal precision of 10 raised to -6. So it means we have 3 million steps along the x-axis. Okay, 3 million steps requires 3 million integer steps are required on the x-axis. Okay, 3 million. Okay, so this is the first step of binary genetic algorithm. Calculate how many integer steps the x-axis must be divided into. Okay. Okay, then how many bits do we need to represent 3 million integer divisions? So if you have 21 bits, 2 raised to 21, that is 2 million integers you can represent. That is not enough. We need 3 million. next available is 22 bits. So 2 raised to 22 will give 4 million integer divisions. So for sake of accuracy, we will go with 22 bits because it is giving the required number of integer divisions. Okay. So we need so if we take 2 million, our decimal accuracy will be less than 10 raised to 6. Okay. So it is not okay for us. So at least 22 bits is required. Okay. So 22 bits is required for this particular binary genetic algorithm example. So now the division numbers, integers from -1 to 2 has to be represented by 22 bits. Okay, so how this is done, we'll see now. Okay, so okay, so f of x, so -1, 2. Okay, so each division is 10 raised to -6 or less. Okay, less than 10 raised to -6. So 4 million divisions are there. So this is the 0th division. Starting division is 0th division, and it is represented in 22 bits by 22 zeros. So this is the starting division or 0th division, and it is represented by 22 zeros here. Oh, okay, then this is the last division. Okay, last division. It is actually 4.09 millionth division. Okay, and it will be represented by okay, 4.19. Okay, so this will be represented by 22 ones. Okay, 22 times you have to write this one. So that is this final division. So 0, 0, 0 is the first division. So in between, a lot of other combination of bits will be there. So for example, okay, suppose this particular division is here. Its decimal value is 0.637917. How do you represent it as a binary, a string of 22 bits? So you have to start counting from here. Okay, which division this is? Start counting from here like this, and you will find that this 0.637917 is the what is it? 22,86,000. No, is it 22,88,697th division? Okay, so that is this integer number. So this integer has to be converted to 22-bit binary string using some sort of computer program. So that is how you identify each number here. Okay, so every number here, like say 0.5263, can be converted into a bit string like this by calculating the integer division at this number. Okay. So what I want to say is that every number here can be converted into a integer bit string. Every x coordinate can be converted into a 22-digit integer bit string. Okay. So next, the genetic algorithm will make a population of 10 random x values in the range of -1 to 2. Okay, so I will wipe all these things. Okay, 10, okay, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, x7, x8, x9, x10. Okay, genetic algorithm will randomly pick 10 x coordinates from the x-axis. Okay. Okay, so some 2-3 values only are written here because it is extremely difficult to convert the decimal to binary. Okay, so x1 is 0.637197. It is converted to 22-bit string. x2 is minus 0.958973. That is also converted to 22-bit string. Then x3 is 1.62788. So that is also converted to 22-bit string. Then you have to find the objective function value. That is f of x. So these are the f of x. Okay. So of this, we can see that x3 has best step. Okay. Actually, we cannot do the ranking now because to do the proper ranking, we need to have all the 10 values. Okay, so no, just out of interest, x3 is the best. The next best is x1, and next best is x2. Okay. Okay, so this is the first step. So each of these x coordinates are converted to binary string, and also we need to know f of x of each x value. Okay, so now let us do the crossover or mating between two good parents. So two parents are selected for crossover or mating. Okay, so let us say x2 and x3. Okay, x2 is one parent. Okay, P1. x3 is another parent, P2. We have to do the mating and get two children. Okay, so one mating operation will give two children from the two parents. So what is done is that x2. So this is the binary string of 22 bits for x2. And this is the binary string of 22 bits for x3. So what you have to do is that you have to randomly cut the binary string at a particular bit. So how do you do that? You have to generate a random number in MATLAB between 1 to 22. Okay, suppose the R is equal to 5. This random number generated is equal to 5. So at the fifth bit, you have to chop the bit strings. Okay, and you have to interchange the tails. So this tail will go up and this tail will come down. So this is simulating the mixing of the DNA between the parents at the time of the fertilization. Okay, so it is trying to, so this operation is trying to simulate that, where the chromosome of the father and chromosome of the mother gets chopped up and mixed over during the fertilization process. So that thing is being imitated here with the bit strings. Okay, so now let us see what is the new value. Okay, so now the tails have been swapped. So we get two children, x2 apostrophe and x3 apostrophe. So you can see that x3 apostrophe, that is 1.66028, has higher fitness than both parents. So its objective function value is higher than both parents. So this is a good mutation. A good mutation. But unfortunately, this is a bad mutation because this particular offspring has a small worse objective function value than both the parents. So what will happen is that in the next iteration, these offsprings will be ranked, and when it is ranked, this bad offspring will come in the bottom, and it will be automatically be filtered out, and this good offspring will come in the top of the list, and it will be selected as a parent to get the next generation. So that is how survival of the fittest is done. Okay. Okay, then another thing is called mutation operation. So you got two offspring, you can mutate one offspring. Okay, so what you can do, so let us take this offspring x3. Okay, offspring x3 is like this. Okay, so to do the mutation, you randomly pick a bit. Okay, so suppose so you have to generate a random number. Suppose r equal to 5, you pick the fifth bit and you change the sign of that bit. So the 0 you change to 1. Okay. So this is how mutation is done in the offspring. Okay, so one or two offsprings you can take and try to do the mutation. So that is you randomly pick a bit and change the sign of the bit. So 0 is changed to 1. So what will happen? So this 1.66 not 28, after mutation it will become 1.7 to 1.638. Okay, so I haven't checked if this is good mutation or bad mutation. Okay, so if it is a bad mutation, the next generation it will be ranked in the bottom and it will be automatically be removed. Okay, we can stop here. So this is the fundamentals of binary genetic algorithm, and later we'll see also some more details about binary genetic algorithm, especially when two variables are there. In this example, only one variable is there, that is f of x versus x. Okay, so f of xy with x and y, how to do it we'll see later. So this is the basic of binary genetic algorithm. Okay, we can stop here now.
Okay.
Sir, I want to ask one thing.
Ah.
Sir, who has thought of this type of algorithm?
Maybe by trial and error, they must have come up with this. That binary string is ideas got from the chromosomes, because chromosomes are a string of molecules. No? So this binary string look like string of molecules. So during the fertilization and all, the DNA strings get chopped up and mixed. So that they thought by writing numbers as bit string and chopping and mixing the bit string, they can simulate the survival of the fittest in animals. Okay. Okay, so we'll stop and I will take attendance. Stop recording now.